Hello everyone, this is Jeff. Thank you so much for coming back to take a look at my channel. Today I am looking at Johanna Basford's new book, Ivy and the Inky Butterfly. Now for those of us who like coloring, most of us, well I can at least say for myself, Johanna Basford is the person that got me into coloring as an adult. More specifically, it was her book, Lost Ocean, that did it. And then from there, well, we all know what happens after that, and we have a whole shelf full of books. But anyway, she's still an old favorite of mine. Every time she produces a book, it's always a happy occasion, and I always look forward to doing it. So this came out a couple weeks ago, and I finally had a chance to flip through it. And then after I've done a flip through a little bit, I will zoom in and we'll do a little coloring together. How about that? Okay. So as you can see, this one is about the same height as one of her previous books, and I'm using Johanna's Christmas as an example. It's just about the same height, but as you can see, it's a little bit narrower. But when you look at them side by side, you'll see that this is much thicker than this. And the main difference, though, between Johanna's Christmas and Ivy and the Inky Butterfly is that Ivy and the Inky Butterfly is a storybook. It actually has a story with all the pictures, so there's some text in here. And because of that, there are some pages that don't have a whole lot of colorable stuff on them. However, there is still plenty of good stuff here to color. And I haven't read through the entire tale yet. I'm taking it kind of slow. But to me, I'm used to seeing in some of her books where there's all this extra blank space where you're supposed to either draw your own stuff in or do something else in there. I never do that. I just want to color. I don't want to draw. So actually seeing the blank space taken up by text, I'm fine with that. It also allows me to do things like add chalk background in a light color if I want to. There are a few of these scenes that are 2 pages. And again, she's learned from experience, and although the wood grain is all the way up to the binding, there are no actual parts of this picture that end up being stuck up against the binding. Of course, we have the butterfly. I haven't found the skull yet, but of course there's got to be a skull in here somewhere. I love this drawing. And even on these text pages, you've got all of this lovely scroll work and vine work, and then you've got these books. I mean, it's just a lot of stuff to do to in this book. It's just, I don't know, I'm just really enjoying it. Now, of course, not every page is going to speak to you, and I'm not going to flip through the whole book because, you should go out and buy it yourself. But it's nice, thick paper. There is plenty to do in here. And both, these pictures, which this reminds me a little bit of The Secret Garden. Then you have these borders around the text and more pages. Here's another 2-page spread. I mean, this is just lovely, and I'm so glad that Johanna decided to do something a little bit different. You can't just keep producing the same type of book with a different theme over and over again. I think that's what kind of turned me off of Millie Murata after a while, is after about 4 books, I'm like, yeah, okay, they're animals with little tiny shapes that make them all up. Dragons. Lots of cloth. There's a lot of places to do shading in here. I love this mushroom. And then, of course, we also have the color palette test page. Very, very useful thing to have. If you're going to be working with markers, it's always good to know if it's going to bleed through the page, and in the case of a water marker, how much you can put on before it actually bleeds through. I would not suggest Copics again, because Copic markers or any kind of alcohol marker such as Spectrum Noir or any other alcohol-based marker is designed to soak into the page, so it will bleed through. I would save those for maybe Johanna's Christmas or one of the artist's editions that are individually printed pages. Now, the end papers are these lovely repeated patterns on a thicker cardstock, which is nice because previous books had a full wraparound cover that you had to remove in order to color on it, and for some reason that always just rubbed me the wrong way. Now, just so we can see how well this holds up to colored pencil, I'm going to go get my pencils. I'm going to zoom in, and we're going to color for a minute or two and see how it goes. Okay, hang on. And here we are, a little bit closer up. Welcome back. And pulled out some polychromos pencils to work with. If you have Prismacolors, or if you have Kaiser colors, or Crayola, whatever it is, just use whatever you have. I'm just lucky enough that I was able to get a good deal on a box of the polychromos. So that's why I'm using them, because they are really kick-butt pencils. So I'm going to do a couple of flowers here, and then probably some of the leaves. We'll see how well that goes. Now, let's see. Let me get my bright yellow. Now we're going to start here. Now, this paper really takes pigment beautifully. I don't know how much input Ms. Basford had over what kind of paper this stuff got printed on, but if you've ever bought a self-published coloring book from Amazon that was done through CreateSpace, it's on this kind of rough paper that even doesn't take a Prismacolor very well. I've tried using polychromoses in those, and they just do not work very well. So I always get really disappointed with those. So it's nice to actually have a coloring book that has a nice, really thick, good paper, because that will take the pencil a lot better. Okay, we're going to layer in some of this orange. And I'm going to go to a red, a darker red at the base. And then probably line the edges of this with a little gray, just to give it a little depth. Now, if any of you have Ivy and the Inky Butterfly, what parts have you liked in it so far? Have you done much coloring in it yet? Let me know. Also created a blog post for this article, or for this video, so feel free to check that out and leave any comments there as well. I also have a link at the blog for buying this book off of Amazon if you want to do that. You can get it directly from Amazon in a couple of days. Otherwise, you know, just drop on by for the conversation. Let me know if there's anything that you'd like to see, or any kind of different topic you'd like to see addressed, so to speak. Okay, let me sharpen this. I love my electric sharpener. Okay. Now, this is a slightly warmer red than the previous one. I figured that would give it a nice change of blush, and also help sort of bridge the gap between the orange and the yellow, sort of make a nice color shift. Let's go back in with the orange. Oh yeah, this is just coloring heaven. I love this. Da-da-da. This is when you want to put on an audiobook, or maybe catch up on your podcasts, if you listen to podcasts. Okay, where's my warm gray? So I'll just drop in a little bit of warm gray down here. So that's a little bit darker. And then along the edge right here. Now, I was in the previous video about the shadows. You don't want to go too far on this. Just enough to give it a little bit of a shadow to make it look like it has depth, if you want to do that. If you don't, then leave it out. Don't do it. This is your book. You're the person who's going to be looking at it. So do whatever makes you happy. If you want this flower to be green with pink accents, then please go right ahead. I actually like to see that. Okay, so now we'll try one of these leaves up here, maybe this one since it's nice and small. I'll give this a good opportunity. Get my greens in the way there. Okay. So I'm going to give this an overall quick light green background. Yeah, it just goes on so easy. I just love this paper. Oh, it's so nice. There we go. And then from here, I'll start laying in a slightly darker green, but one that's not too dark. Because I'm going to save the darkest green that I have out right now for the tip. I'm going to leave part of this the same color as I started, so it'll have like a darker backbone here, or a back section. And I'm going to go back with the really light green to even this out. All right, let's go ahead and do that now. Now, as you'll notice, I color in small circles. That's just the way I do it. I find that it gives the best overall flat look to the color. If you prefer to do it all in single strokes, please. Don't let anyone dictate to you how you color, because this is your time and this is your Zen moment. So do whatever makes you feel good. All right, now let's go for the dark green that I have here. Let's see, and this one is a deep cobalt green, so it's got a little blue in it. I'm just going to touch up the tip here. Let's darken this in. There we go. Look at that. Oh, that's nice. Okay. Come back in with the leaf green. Even this out. And finally, come on back in with the light green. Actually, let me sharpen the light green. There we go. And there we go. Oh, that's going to be nice. Well, there you go. It's really a nice book. If you enjoy Johanna Basford, you're really going to like this. Even if you're not really fond of the story itself, there's still plenty of stuff to do in this book. So I would give it a big thumbs up. That's a thumbs up for me. And I'll see you real soon. Thank you so much. Don't forget to subscribe and hit like if you enjoyed the video. And comment down below if there's anything else that you'd like me to do, or if there's any other content that you think would be appropriate. I'd love to hear it. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.